President Trump was praised by members of the Republican Party following his address to Congress Tuesday. But in order to follow through on his promises, he'll need to navigate internal disputes within his own party.
The Congress is stumbling. Republicans in the Congress, we're all tied up in knots.
First, there's healthcare reform, a top priority for the GOP.
The way to make health insurance available to everyone is to lower the cost of health insurance, and that is what we are going to do.
Republicans have pledged to overhaul the Affordable Care Act, but there are disagreements within the party over how to approach the process. GOP leaders in the House have proposed replacing Obamacare subsidies with refundable tax credits, an idea Trump gave a nod to in his speech.
Secondly, we should help Americans purchase their own coverage.
But that has some fiscal conservatives uneasy. Many oppose expanding tax credits because they say it would merely replace one entitlement with another.
People are trying to make it too elaborate now, and they're adding in some government programs that I object to. How is that different than Obamacare subsidies? We just call them tax credits instead of subsidies, but they're the same thing. It's government money, of which there's a shortage of.
Another point of contention, tax reform.
My economic team is developing historic tax reform that will reduce the tax rate on our companies so they can compete and thrive anywhere and with anyone.
Trump has repeated his pledge to cut taxes and simplify the tax code, but he has not said whether or not he supports a border adjustment tax, the subject of much debate in the GOP-led Congress. That, as it's commonly called, would tax imports and exempt exports. It's supported by Republicans like House Speaker Paul Ryan as a way to bolster U.S. manufacturing, bring back jobs from overseas, and discourage corporate inversions. But the proposal has been met with resistance by some Republicans in the Senate, who say it would ultimately lead to higher prices and squeeze the middle class.
The House is talking about a tax plan that won't get 10 votes in the Senate.
There are also broad disagreements about government funding. While President Trump is likely to find broad GOP support for his proposal to increase military spending, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have already rejected Trump's plan to significantly cut funding to the State Department as one of the many ways to pay for it. Overall, budget hawks in Congress are worried about adding to the deficit.
Do we want to keep saddling our kids, our grandkids, and frankly, not even us right now? And this is such a big problem. Our debt to GDP ratio is now 1-to-1. That is a dangerous place to be.
President Trump could run into problems funding his border wall, which is estimated to cost more than $20 billion, and it'll be tough to pass his massive $1 trillion infrastructure package if he can't unite all Republicans in Congress around his plans.